Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you my thoughts on the new Amazement archetype that got revealed, and it is honestly one of my favorite concepts that Konami's brought up so far. It just seems like such an interesting archetype, and I'm just gonna think about. I'm gonna discuss on how I think it might be, how it might be played, meta relevant, and whatnot. So let's get to it. So starting off with our kind of boss monster, Amazement Administrator, Arlecchino. I think that's an upside down A, which I believe is the Nabla symbol in Greek. I might be wrong there. So it's a level 7 Dark Psychic, so that might be the standard typing. I haven't actually looked at typings. Okay, the monsters are different. They're different. So it's going to kind of be an amusement park type artwork. The artwork is amazing. So let's read its effect. Its first effect to summon itself from the hand is kind of like Multi-Faker, where if you activate a trap card, you can summon it from your hand. So just off that effect, you can probably tell it's going to be some sort of control deck, since you know it's referring to traps, and traps are only in control decks. And what it says, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target one of those monsters, equip it with an attraction trap from from your deck. Now, all the attraction traps, they're also really interesting. The traps, they kind of get different effects depending on the monster it's equipped to. Like, you just equip it to a monster, and then there's a trap that can negate the effects of that monster. There's a trap that can take control of that monster, and there are a couple traps that can like lower its attack. It's just a really cool concept. So being able to just disrupt your opponent like that is always super good. And next, its third effect is you can banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard and target those many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. Now, the attraction traps, they don't really have any effect when they're banished, so that can sometimes be kind of meh. So they don't have effect when they're banished, and there are a couple of cards that like it in the graveyard. Like, I believe this teddy bear one right here has kind of depends on the card being in the graveyard. So we'll have to see how that works out, you know, just being able to destroy a bunch of cards. And as I said, this card that we're going to discuss right here does have effects depending on whether the traps are in the graveyard. What he can do is he can recover attraction traps from your graveyard and just immediately equip them to a monster your opponent controls. So it would have been a bit worse if it just added it to your hand, because then you'll have to wait a turn to activate it next. But since it does directly equip it, it actually does help the speed of the deck a bit. And sometimes there are a couple of cards that make the deck seem a bit slow, but you know, I think it might actually be pretty decent. So that's its first effect. The second effect is that you can target one attraction trap equipped to a monster and equip it to an amazement monster or another face of monster your opponent controls. So the traps, they're interesting. They gain effects depending on the original controller of the trap that you the original controller of the equipped monster, I mean. So if it's equipped to an opponent's monster, it gets a different effect. If it's equipped to one of your monsters, it gets a different effect. So depending on that, you get different cool effects, and that's why that effect exists. And it's a quick effect too. So if you just wanted to negate a trigger effect, so I mean, I believe, I don't remember the traps exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's like you can use each effect of this card once per turn. So I'm pretty sure you can negate one of your opponent's monsters and then like equip it to one of your monsters, and then that same card has like the effect to like send a spell or trap your opponent controls to the graveyard or something. It's just really cool. So that will kind of work. Next we have the last monster, the 3 Amazement Attendant Comica. So it's a level 4 light machine. The bear over there was level 3 beast. 1400 attack, 1800 defense, nice defense, and it's a hard one to return on the second effect. So it says, when this card is normal summoned, you can set one attraction trap directly from your spell or traps from your deck to your spell trap zone. So it's kind of like Marionetta, where it just sets something straight from your deck, which is super cool. And next, its second effect says you can target one of your attraction traps. It's basically the same second effect as the bear, where it just swaps the equipped monster. Well, not swapped. It changes the equipped trap to another monster. So if it's equipped to an opponent's monster, you can make it go equipped to one of your monsters. And I say they have different effects depending on what monster they're equipped to. And since the traps are also generic enough, this might also be played as an engine, since you can maybe just run 3 of this card, you normal summon it, use its effect, and then you have the potential to just run it as an engine that can disrupt your opponent whenever, and that too consistently. So that's something you can do. Next, we have a quick play spell, Amazing Time Ticket. So what it says, you can pay 800 life points, and depending on whose turn it is, you get different effects. If it's your if it's your turn, you search any amazement cards. So you can search any of the spells, any of the monsters which is just broken. And if it's your opponent's turn, you can send one attraction trap from your deck to your spell drop zone, and it can be activated this turn. So having that versatility is super great. And all the traps are really searchable. Like every single card we've seen until now, except the bear, is able to just search a trap, which is stupid. And the traps are also really broken. I'll just show them to you in a second. And being able to search anything is obviously really good, even if it's just a hard once per turn. Next, we have another quick play. I don't like this one too much. If when your opponent activates a card effect that targets an amazement card monster you control, you can bounce it back to your hand and then special summon another one from your hand. So I think you can bounce summon the same one. Not sure about that, but it's really meh, just protects your monsters from targeted, and the deck is less revolved around targeting and more about the traps. So I don't really like that effect too much. It might just be played as a one-off for protection. I don't really like it too much, to be honest. Next we have the field spell. It's a new archetype, of course it's going to have a field spell. This field spell isn't as broken as standard one, but it's still really good. Its effect is you can activate one attraction trap card the main phase is set. So a lot of trap decks do have some problem going second, and this kind of helps with that, since you're able to activate trap cards to turn their set, and this just helps you it gives a more aggressive edge if you're going second. And its second effect, during the end phase, you can send one of your attraction trap cards that is equipped to a monster's graveyard, and then set one of your other attraction trap cards that are banished or in the graveyard. So it kind of just tags out the trap cards. It has to be of a different name too, but being able to tag out trap cards if you've already used one is super neat, even if it's only during your it's during the end phase, sorry. Next we have a trap card, Amazement Family Face. It reads, you can only activate one effect of this card's name per turn, and if your monster, sorry, I kind of just lost my train of thought there. What it says is you can target one monster your opponent controls that's equipped to an attraction trap card, equip it to that target. So one of your attraction trap cards has to be equipped with it already, and that is a bit of a problem, but it's an amazement card, and this is the only amazement trap card. As I think all of the other trap cards are attraction trap cards, and it can be searched during your turn with this ticket card. And what it reads, you take control of that monster, and if you control the equipped monster, it gains 500 attack, and it cannot activate its effects. Also, it's treated as an amazement monster. So if you want to equip another amazement attraction trap card with the effects of like the bear or the or the Comica, you can just do that. You take control of the monster and it gains 500 attack, which is super good. So being able to just take control of something is really great. Next we have Amazement Attraction, not Amazement, just Amaze Attraction Cyclone Coaster. What this does, you can target one Amazement monster you control or one face of monster your opponent controls, equip it. So it gains it, and then it gains an effect depending on which card it's depending on the equipped monster's controller. So if you control it, you can send one of your opponent's spell trap cards to your graveyard as a quick effect, which is super great. And if your opponent controls it, you can search any of your amazement monsters from your deck to your hand, which is another really great effect, especially if you're activating during your turn with the field spell. So it's just a Rhoda in that case, which is really good. So the deck's really consistent. That's something that should be clear by now. So two pretty decent effects. In my opinion, if you don't have the field spell, the search effect might be a bit underwhelming, just because it does only happen on your opponent's turn. So it might be a bit too slow as for a search effect, but it can still work. I don't think you can, if you search the boss monster, and you can, I don't think you can make just summon it, since an open game state had happened earlier. But if you want, you can just search the boss monster. If you activate another trap, you can summon the boss monster, and then boss monster can grab you another attraction trap card, which is super cool. Next we have Amaze Attraction Wonder Wheel. This reads, if it's equipped to one of your monsters, you can return one card from your hand to bottom deck and draw a card. So it's kind of just a mulligan, which isn't that great, and it's only during your end phase, during your main phase, which it's not during. Okay, it's not during your main phase, just during the main phase, but I still don't like a mulligan on a trap card too much, so I don't think the decks will run it. Even it's when it's equipped to an opponent, it's not that great. It just swaps the equipped monster's attack and defense, which is completely invalid for Link monsters, so I don't think we'll be running this card. It's just really underwhelming. Next we have Amaze Attraction Majestic Manege. It says that the manege is French term for merry-go-round. Or reads, if it's equipped to one of your monsters, the monster gains 500 attack and it protects it from battle or card effect, which is super cool. It's kind of like the Phantom Knight's Wing in a way, but that effect is kind of meh, to be honest. Just a protection for one time and it only gains 500 attack, but still protection is really cool. Next, during your opponent's turn, the equipped monster loses 500 attack for each of your attraction traps that are equipped to a monster. So depending on the number of traps you control, it loses 500, which might help in OTKing, but this seems to be a control deck, so I don't think OTKing will be too necessary. So next we have Amaze Attraction Rapid Racing. Now what this can do is if it's equipped to your monster, you can change the monster's battle position and shuffle one card in either graveyard into the deck. So it's basically a DD Crow, another interruption, and since you're able to just turbo out interruptions so easily, it's just really good. And then, if it's equipped to one of your opponent's monsters, you can increase the monster's level by 1 and then change its battle position. So this might be pretty useful against Synchro and Xyz decks, and since those are pretty popular, this should be a pretty decent effect in some cases if you're equipping it with the effect of the boss monster Administrator. It's kind of underwhelming, but its first effect is super decent as a DD Crow, and I believe this is the last one, Amaze Attraction Horror House, and this is my favorite. It's definitely the best one. What it can do is if it's equipped to your monster, just negate the effects of something. It's literally just negate the effects of something, which is super strong, and it's basically an imperm. And if it's equipped to your opponent's monster, just change it to face down defense position, a Book of Moon. So it can either be a Book of Moon, it can be an imperm, and on top of that you're able to just swap control of the you're able to change what monster this card is equipped to with the effects of the bear and Comica. So this is just really cool. Being able to either be a negate or a Book of Moon, and if with access to Comica, you can just do that every single turn. So what are my thoughts on the entire archetype? I think it's super cool. I think it does have some rogue potential at best, and it might be a bit too slow to be like tier 2 or tier 1, but still being rogue is pretty decent. Might be in 1 or 2 topping decks, but I highly doubt a pure version of it will top. What I think it will be is more of an engine where you just kind of run Comica. That will be your main engine card, and you want to kind of control the board with Comica and Horror House being able to just all the time just negate your opponent's card effects. This might be splashed with Eldritch. Eldritch can very easily just have this, since you don't really need your normal summon, and since the engine is super small, you can also have lots of free space for hand traps. And yeah, that is kind of it. So those are kind of my thoughts. They'll probably use as an engine in my opinion. If you have any thoughts on the deck, do leave them down below. I'd love to see them in the comments. And before leaving, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit those notifications, that notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.